Some guys I know only like male comedians.
Correct.
Who talk about comedy that they relate to.
And
are they going to love Baby Cobra with a big pregnant bellied Ali Wong talking about breastfeeding and giving birth and reproducing? This is really a stupid study.
Right.
When it's saying you're not perceived as funny because you have to worry about being pregnant and breastfeeding.
But
what?
Exactly. And I also think that
WTF.
the other reason why I think it's also biased is that if you look at especially this particular societal bias towards what is funny, if you go back to,
the bias is like, baked in.
If you go back to when there was a very male gaze of what was funny. Like it was a very pratfally crass variety of humor. And so when women tried to do that, then other women would say, because this is what was expected to be say, oh, well, she's so crass, she's so vulgar. But that's the style of humor that was in the
like
in
a
the
Chelsea
society.
Handler who, I hate children and all I do is drink vodka and
but that's a male variety
have
of
a
humor.
lot of sex. Well, it says right here, men on the other hand prefer women who laugh at their humor. This thing talks about hunter-gatherer. It talks about men and their mating. It talks about this and that. Okay, fine. Whatever.
Exactly.
You're gonna be a lead researcher who's a dude and set up stuff based on your like dude bro humor,
right? And
then have people who respond it based on your lens. I mean, you're baking it in.
Right. And so I was just annoyed from jump, and that's why I found the whole article very triggery.
Clickbait. This is a clickbait thing to get money to do what you want to do.
And the thing is that's also interesting about this particular pile of studies that these researchers did is that the way that they looked at the numbers was still based upon coming in it at men say that they want women who laugh at their jokes, and that women say they want guys they want guys who are funny. But I can tell you for a fact that when guys say on their profile, like almost to a fault, if they go, we want somebody that, you need to not take yourself too seriously, that means you're a jerk, kind of thing. And somebody has told you you're not funny or they didn't like your jokes. And so now it's back on me that I don't think you're funny.
Is this like somebody who says that they don't want somebody who plays games? Which is, again, may I remind everybody, a red flag that you're about to be playing some games.
Right. And I agree with a lot of the people who are in this particular article. They did talk to, even though they said that this wasn't about female comedians, of course, those are the ones that they looked at. And it's interesting because women are saying...
They write an entire sentence. I'm sorry, I can't stop reading from this because it's such garbage.
But that's the whole point is that, as other females who are saying that this shouldn't even happen as a study the way that you've done it. Because all this is doing is discouraging women from even trying, because now you're saying, again, you are genetically predisposed to be less funny than your male counterpart. So why are you even trying to be funny?
Why does this persist as a topic?
Right.
I don't mean that rhetorically. I mean, why, of all the things...
Why does this keep popping up, the study?
Yeah. Is it about control? Is it about...
I think there's going to be certain types of guys that might not like your humor. Who cares? I mean, all you can do is be who you are and be honest and talk about what you want. And, I mean, if... You're either going to be talented or you're not. I don't even know what
the other reason why I think I think it comes up is I think that a lot of the concept of humor is one of those topics that people constantly want to be able to quantify it, and they want to be able to research it and go, okay, how could I make the reason why people laugh at things math and an equation? And people ask me all the time, like, how did you craft that joke? Why did you decide to write about this? What do you do? And I feel like my more analytical friends really want to be able to deconstruct it and be able to put it back together like a salad and go, here's the ingredients that you put into humor. And it doesn't work that way. But it also is something that I can say, well, when I'm basing the way that I frame a joke, I may not tell a whole different joke, but I do have to, as a comedian, for what I choose to do, read the room, and I like to go, well, I'm going to tell this joke this way. Oh, look, we have more couples. They're older, they're younger, they look to be in this group. So there might be a way that I frame it, or a particular way that I exchange the information, even though it might be in general be the same material. And I also choose to write for a particular audience because I am sick of them saying, oh, you have to be funny this way. Because it always does. It doesn't always, but it often comes back to when they are looking for female comedians, they like beautiful women who say mean things. Because that's still a very male type of humor. That be on a roast, say this nasty thing about someone else, not me. I don't want you to talk to me like that. You know, if you were my wife, I'd hate it because that happens all the time too. Where you think that you want a funny woman, and then you bring a knife to a gunfight, and you think, anytime that somebody says, "Oh yeah, I want somebody that's proficient in sarcasm," no, you do not, because I am quite proficient in sarcasm, and this will not be fun for you.
Right, and isn't that men's biggest fear is the fear of being laughed at by women?
Right. And so why are you, exactly.
Buckle up.
So I'm like, you are not going to enjoy this at all, because it is a matter of they want to be able to, again, control the scenario that the laughter happens in. I think that it's silly for us to continue to fuel that. And these studies are going to keep fueling that. And I think that we also train women to pit themselves against other women because they are trying to make sure that they are the most interesting thing in that dynamic. If we're looking at a cis heterosexual relationship, then the woman wants to make sure that she doesn't want a woman that's funnier. And so they're so used to being able to say, I get just as many women that come up and tell me, I don't normally think women are funny, but I liked you. As I do men that say, I don't think it. And I think it's because we created this societal Highlander strategy that any woman who's doing something, you're like, oh, well, she's getting attention. Therefore, I need to be upset about it. Even though I'm not a threat, I don't want your man. I'm not trying to get your man. I'm not, I'm glad that you're happy in a relationship. But we have to continue to break down that barrier and go, it's okay for you to find something funny that he doesn't. So that happens a lot where the guy is the one who gets to decide where they go. And so I will hear, like, if I'm doing a show that it happens to be all female comedians, then guys will go, oh, well, I don't know. Can I go? Because, it's all females. When I never hear women go, oh, it's all guys on the bill. Right. Should I go to this show?
Right.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's maddening.
I watch a lot of stand-up comedy. I probably am more likely to watch the female stand-up comedy stuff. And I mean this like online streaming. But if it's a male stand-up comic that I really like, I watch it. Right. And I will watch a male stand-up comedy special if it's a friend of mine or somebody that I know says, oh, you should watch this. I really like this comedian. Then I'll watch it. But if it's an unknown to me male stand-up comedy special that just shows up, I'm not going to do that. But if it's a female unknown to me stand-up comedy special that shows up, I'll give her a shot because I just know I'm going to relate to it more.
And I think that's why the fact that this study, in the particular way that it's phrased, is disheartening because it does, again, go, it sets up the scenario of women shouldn't bother. Kind of thing. There's a reason why you're lesser, so don't even bother. And so I am disappointed anytime one of these studies continues to pop up, just like you, Samantha, where I'm just like, really another one of these things where they'll go, we're not saying women aren't funny. I mean, a few of you are, just not as much as men.
I just don't have as much interest in that bro humor. I mean, if you're a dude and you want to listen to dudes stand up and talk about dude stuff, more power to you. But it's just not of good interest to me, and I don't find it all that funny.
And I think that we should just encourage there to be multiple voices. Yeah. Just encourage. We've been there. We've done that. There's other voices and other stories that can be said.
I would say, are men funnier than women? Maybe to other men, but not to me. Not in my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah. And I know a lot of guys that think they're funny that are not.
Yeah,
and that has nothing to do with comedy. That just has to do with people.
Good for you, brah. Power to you.
Yeah, enjoy that. There's a little bit of something out there for everybody in the comedy world. That's what works. All right, let's move on to Does This Make Me Old? Does this make me old? I'm very excited to talk about this because I get to use the word cancel very often in my lexicon, but we want to talk about teens cancel culture and whether it's going a little bit too far with our teens.
Okay, so there's two stories in the New York Times that the good old New York Times which I'm now a proud subscriber of. Because,
good to you.
Well, they
good
quit letting me read their articles for free.
Yeah.
And you know what? Then I went ahead and I had to subscribe to the crossword puzzle, too, because I started liking to play their games. They got me on the app. So.
You should support the people that you like, so that is fine.
I do, and I just have to log in here on my laptop so I could keep reading. I was like, guess what, New York Times? I will log in.
Thank you very much.
I will take you up on this offer.
Yes.
I have a login.
I do also support the New York Times.
Try to get me not in here.
And I think there's certain papers that I'm just like, the fact that I just dated myself, I shouldn't even call it a paper anymore. That kind of thing. Certain news outlets.
I said the app.
Yeah, certain outlets that I also support.
So one of them's called Tales from Teenage Cancel Culture.
Right.
What's cancel culture really like? Ask a teenager. And this is pretty interesting. I mean, it references R. Kelly, and it talks about a teenager in school and how one of the students wanted to still like listen to R. Kelly, and the other student was like, he's canceled. I watched Surviving R. Kelly, and the other student was like, well, I still like the music. And then they're like, canceled. I don't know. I mean, that's the gist of the article. And then they
ostracized that. But this particular student who, the female student who decided that she was over this male student and his response.
They were over this person.
Yeah, where
like
they had
Kelly.
In their opinion, multiple opportunities and said, you know what, you've said some things that we find problematic, and now we've decided that you're canceled. Which I think is...
Well, I don't want to get into the opinions yet. I want to talk about the next article.
Okay.
You're canceled.
So, Obama had come out not too long ago and was against this, what he calls cancel culture.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And he said this isn't a good thing. And canceling people and this whole culture of doing this is negative and people need to stop. And the opinion piece in the New York Times, as we've said that we support here,
correct,
is saying Obama's very boomer view of cancel culture. Old, powerful people often seem to be more upset by online criticism than they are by injustice. Okay, so that's, people think that it's not very woke to be upset by cancel culture. Like, they're canceling his canceling of cancel culture. They're all canceling each other out. Okay, we've talked about this before, but if people haven't heard past episodes or my view on this, I'm obviously on the side of Obama more. And the reason that I am is I feel like this is more of a free speech, First Amendment right, where you should be able to listen to what you want to listen to, not take down art, not censor things. If you want to listen to Michael Jackson, you should be able to listen to Michael Jackson.
Right.
Am I going to listen to R. Kelly? No.
Right.
Would I have a fit if somebody wanted to listen to R. Kelly? No. Should all of R. Kelly's stuff be gone? No.
Right.
And I really don't like if it comes down to books or banning books or getting like that kind of stuff really bothers me. Like, I really don't like it when people from Saudi Arabia visit Italy and they have to put sheets over the art because they can't see things that are naked. Like, that kind of stuff drives me bananas. And I don't like it when we go so far left that we come almost to a full circle where we've hit the right and it's fascism.
Well,
and I think that's a fine line. And I will always fall on the side of free speech, First Amendment rights, and you do not stop people from having art and literature and what they want. I mean, it's up to people. So just don't do what you don't want. And
Samantha, what do you think?
Stop shutting people up.
I see multiple sides of this. I have some sympathy for the Gen Z, the kids who are engaging in cancel culture because I see elements of them not wanting to engage in a conflict and choosing instead to walk away from something that they find offensive.
Right.
But I also can see where it becomes very extreme and it starts to become about censoring people and preventing them from expressing themselves. And I think that's where that's the bit of President Obama's woke scolding that I agreed with.
Yes.
But it's got to be a balance. But ultimately, I think that more conversation is better.
Right.
And so I think I'm not really in favor of cancel culture.
Yeah. I think my thing about cancel